Episode 8 of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory career mode here on EAFC 24. And in the last episode we had a 4-2 victory over AFC Wimbledon. As you can see, Dale nets a brace and he must be the top scorer in the league at this point. I would be extremely surprised if he wasn't. So let's take a quick look at that to start the episode. Dale top there on 7 goals in 5 matches. Fantastic start to the season for him. I don't imagine we have anybody else on this list. We don't. Several players are on 2 goals though. And I think we probably do have a handful of players on 2 goals actually. Lancaster joint top of the assists table with 3, which is decent. Again, there's several players on 2. I imagine we have a couple. We do. Sam Ford at 18, Noah Burgess at 19 as well, each on 2. Sheets, not so much. We've got just the 1 clean sheet so far, so work to do defensively. Couple of things to update you on at the beginning of this episode. Firstly, if we go check out the news again, we can see that Burgess has completed his development plan, so is now a left winger. As the article tells us when it loads, fans are used to seeing Burgess play as a left winger, so it will come as a surprise to learn that the manager now wants to try him as a left winger. Does the boss see this as a permanent switch? Yeah, nonsensical news article, but I do see it as a permanent switch. So, where are we? If we shift over to Squad Hub, we can see Burgess is now a left winger. Lancaster on the same sort of development plan, but he's making the switch to right wing. He's getting fairly close to making that change now. And then the one other thing that's important that happened in the interim between the last episode and this one is that we received an offer of $95,000 for Marcus Naylor, 34-year-old goalkeeper. Our backup, marginally better than the other backup that we have, but the other backup is almost literally half his age. So trying to clear a little bit of space. One of our objectives as well is to prevent player salaries from increasing by more than 5%. I would like to add a few players to the squad, so trying to cut down on the wages that we do currently have on the books will help us to achieve that objective. The offer though was from none other than Salford City, one of our early rivals in the career mode. Second place immediately behind us in the league and one of the only teams to beat us so far this year. We take on Mansfield Town today, and I believe we're at home for only the 2nd time this season. Going to make a couple of changes ahead of this game. I'm not sure why our starting 11 has got so mixed up here. But I have made a couple of changes to the starting 11. Firstly, I've made the change that I discussed in the previous episode. Brandon Anderson has dropped down to the bench. Zach Francis coming into the starting lineup to take his place. And then I've also brought in Sue Hale, who is, or who was the free agent centre-back that we signed at the beginning of the season. He looks decent. He's got 69 pace, 71 physical, 59 defending. He's only 6 foot, but he does have 81 jumping. So kind of in the Stanley mould. He's only got a 74 jumping actually, but he is 5'10". So yeah, Sue Hale, we'll see what kind of job he could do. We've dropped Bullock down to the bench. He did pick up a slight knock in the previous game. It hasn't, ended up lingering beyond the game, but just to be certain, we'll bring Sue Hale in. We'll see what he can do, and we're going to leave Carpenter on the bench. Other than that, the starting 11 remains the same. So we are going to jump straight into this game against Mansfield Town. Only 3 points, so struggling in the league right now. They find themselves in 21st place, so hovering just above those bottom 3 relegation spots. So let's see how they're going to line up. Very narrow. They're going to play a 4-4-2 diamond, basically. And then they are just going to play standard. You can see their form there. Very much explains why they find themselves languishing near the bottom of the table. 3 losses and 2 draws in the last 5. They haven't won so far this season. Or, no, they must have won the first game of the season, and then one of those 5 matches will have been their Carabao Cup game. 59 defence, so really bad at the back. The midfield and their attack not so bad though. Hewitt and Oates key players, and Quinn their captain. So I feel good about this game. I think we played well against Wimbledon. Maybe didn't defend particularly well, but we played well going forward. We scored 4 goals and we looked decent. I think it's going to be much the same in this game. I fancy us to get a big result here. Keep a clean sheet, 2 or 3 goals. Really establish ourselves at the top of the table.
And very excited to be able to bring you live action from League 2 coming up. It's Rangers, and they take on Mansfield.
In the red and black home kit today, I do like this kit as well. I'm not sure which of the 3 kits is my favourite. I really do like them all. A little bit sloppy in possession early. Mansfield do just play standard, whereas Wimbledon in the last game played counter-attack. So Mansfield looking to establish themselves on the ball a little more than Wimbledon will have. So we can't just expect necessarily to have possession all game.
What can they do from here?
Oh, that's a great ball early. Sue Hale manages to get back and take away the angle for the shot. And we can break. The ball over the top from Sam Ford to Ryan Lancaster. And if he can outpace the centre-back, he could be in. He is in, but he puts the ball over the top. Can't quite wrap his foot around it enough to curl it into the far corner. And ends up putting it over. It's the way we want to play though. Defend solid. Squeeze them out at the back. And then break quickly. Unusual not to see Jake Dale in the box somewhere looking for a pullback or a rebound of some sort. But the attack did come really from nowhere. And Lancaster is one of our quicker players, so not outrageous that Jake Dale wasn't able to keep up. We're going to see how Zach Francis does in the centre of midfield. Brandon Anderson sent off, banned for a game, came back and played really poorly. So see if Francis does enough to hold on to Brandon Anderson's spot, or I'll tell you what, Sue Hales looked very good early. He's read that pass really well. It's not the first time he's made an influential defensive play already today. Already Mansfield are looking more dangerous in attack than Wimbledon. They just have more impetus, they just look more willing to commit players forward and try and do something kind of progressive and positive with their play. So we're going to have to be careful here. If we don't defend well, we could well find ourselves a goal down. Oh, that's really poor from Hutton. I just want Dalton to sit in a little deeper there, just to pick up that pass and then drive forward rather than trying to pick up the pass in the more advanced position. Good block. Sue Hale there ready again to block it, but Sam Ford gets there first. I like the look of Sue Hale. Sam Ford just not making a particularly useful run there. We'll take the corner. I wanted to kind of drag the defender away or just hold his... Not corner?
Alex keeping us right up to date.
Not really sure how that wasn't a corner. I'm not going to go into instant replay to check it out, but Guess I missed something there. One thing I have noticed is that we tend to start games fairly slowly.
In possession, Oates.
Almost always I look up and the clock is closing in on 20 minutes and we've done almost nothing. A very good chance from Lancaster, to be fair, but there's been a pattern in each of the games, really, I would say, so far this season. It takes us a little while to get going. So Dale just kind of edged off the ball there. Oh, it's a good ball. Hutton not quite able to get a foot on it. Suhail obviously is, though, and he clears. Fantastic defending again. Making his Redmont Rangers debut today. Didn't play in that Carabao Cup game. We brought Carpenter in, but not Suhail.
A really single-minded piece of defending to make sure nothing untoward happened. Half-hearted clearance.
Struggling to really get out of our own box at the moment. Mansfield playing very high up the pitch, and when we do win the ball back in these deeper kind of areas, they're in a position to press us early and stop us from finding the outlet ball. But they've over-pursued there, kind of charging past Dalton, who plays in Dale, but he overcooks the pass. A great chance there. The Mansfield defender just absolutely charging at Dalton, and a slight feint of the body leaves him flying past Dalton. I feel like they're having to go backwards and sideways. It's a poor pass from Suhail. The first mistake that he's made in the game, but he immediately wins it back, and he immediately gives it away again. Frantic passage of play for the defender.
What can he do with it now?
Got to win that.
The ideal clearance. Maris.
Thought that was going out. I thought we were comfortable there, and Hutton just heads it out for a corner. I'm not sure he needed to, but nobody gives him a call, and he just makes the decision to deal with it the best way he knows how. Just get rid. Stanley beaten. Willis comes out and makes a great save. The ball falls to number 18 there at the edge of the 6-yard box, and Willis just really proactive, rushing out to meet it and makes a great save. Not sure how the Mansfield attacker found himself all alone there in such a dangerous position. We definitely need to bulk up in the team. That was one of the things that I set out at the beginning of the season as wanting to be an area that we dominate. That was balls in the air, set pieces. And instead we tend to get dominated. Very rarely manage to win. Oh, I wouldn't say rarely manage to win, but too often we're beaten when defending corners.
Well, across that time, completely overcooked.
Tempted to slide there, but I didn't want Bevan to give away a free kick, and I thought he was going to be able to get to the ball first. Didn't work out that way. France has been very quiet so far. Can we chip that into Sam Ford? We can, but he can't quite beat the Mansfield defender to it. And what's that? Some kind of free kick to Mansfield. I have no idea why that was. A handball in there maybe. Didn't see an offside. But I'm not really sure how there was a foul there. So Sam Ford finds himself in again. Just tries to lay it off for Dale. Maybe he could have been a little more selfish there and taken the shot on himself. sure where Lancaster is exactly. He's right in the centre of the field there for some reason. He is set to stay wide and he's playing right wing, so kind of bemusing positioning from him there. Jake Dale going one way, Zach Francis playing the pass in the opposite direction. Just a bit of miscommunication there, but decent idea from Francis, just not on the same page as the striker. Burgess is away. Saw him sprinting in there. Can we pull it back for Lancaster? That's an awful cross. Not even a cross really. I was just looking to pull it back to Lancaster. Again, could have been a little more selfish, Noah Burgess there. And just driven into the box and taken a shot on himself. But Lancaster was in so much space. Sam Ford is going to take it on himself this time. Pulls it back to Jake Dale, who blazes it wide. And if there was anyone that you wanted to have the ball at his feet in that position, it's Jake Dale. And he smashes it wide of the post. Goalkeeper would have had no chance. But Dale doesn't even manage to get it on target. And that's really poor. We should be 1-0 up just before the break. Oh, that's really poor from Hutton. I need to stop trying to play cute little passes with him. I need to understand what he does well and what he doesn't. One thing he doesn't do well right now is pass the ball. We are working on it. That is what he does well. Big, strong, aggressive defending. We are working on his passing. We have him set on the pass-playing defender development plan. Can we squeeze in one last attack here? 2 minutes of extra time. But the referee's going to let us have it. And can we find Lancaster this time? We can. Who hits it first time? And the goalkeeper digs out a fantastic save. We should be going into the break 1-0 up. A couple of chances at the end there. One for Dale and one for Lancaster. Goalkeeper pulls off two fantastic saves. Also rocking the Titan gloves. Just like Elliot Willis, the Mansfield keeper with the white beasts. Willis rocking the red beasts. I think we'll stick with the same 11. Again, just our bench is so dire, really. You know, all in the 50s apart from Anderson, who we've said has played poorly recently, so not particularly incentivised to bring anybody on, especially when we're all so fresh, having had the full week off. Let's check the half-time match facts. Dead on 50-50 possession-wise. Mansfield have edged passes attempted, and they've had more shots than us. 2 out of our 3 shots, though. Probably the best chances of the half, so a very even first half. Really looking to get something more than a point from this game. I mean, there's only one thing you can get more than a point, and that's 3 points, but looking to get 3 points from this game is essentially what I'm saying. Mansfield hovering above the relegation zone. Not a team that we should be, you know, allowing to come away with a point when we are at home, so try and be a bit more, try and impose ourselves a little more on this second half. I think that was the thing about that first half. We just weren't imposing enough. We just allowed them to play a little bit. Oh, close from Francis, but Dale unable to get a chance to turn that into something. I wanted to just kind of flick it away from the defender and then turn and shoot, but the defender read it all the way and stepped in first. Rangers fans really getting behind the team now. They didn't see too much to cheer about in that first half. Devon keeps trying that, the little cut inside. And it just doesn't really ever come off, so should probably stop trying. Francis gonna have a go from range. He times it up perfectly. We've got the green shot time in there, but straight at the keeper in the end. Worth a shot though.
Stephen Quinn. Davis Keeler done. Well, it's a decent looking attack, this. A chance to whip it in. Angles it back.
That's a good save.
To turn the ball away.
Kind of dangerous there. We could see what Mansfield were trying to do.
Rangers unable
Tried to take it away, but Stanley was kind of left in a 2-on-1. And Lancaster's left all alone. And he hits it straight at the goalkeeper as well. Several really good chances. Haven't been able to take any of them.
Stanley.
Oh, and he's just offside. Bale has got the other side of the defender there. And if Burgess managed to stay onside, they would have been in. And I would have fancied him to tuck away his second chance of the game, really. You wouldn't expect him to miss one like he did in the first half, so we can fashion another similar chance.
On the offensive.
Chances of him missing two good opportunities in a game are slim to none. We've given the ball away though. Willis has made an excellent reaction save to keep the scores level. Approaching the hour mark, still 0-0. He's got to win that. Mansfield player tries an overhead. Could have been called dangerous play, really. I think just get rid of Suhail. There's no advantage. We'll take the free kick, which apparently we don't get. Not sure how that was an advantage. Leishman had clearly waited for a free kick. Just pumped the ball away just to be sure. And I assumed that would immediately give us the free kick because of no advantage, but apparently not.
Nothing comes of the attack when all is said and done.
We just eased off the ball again there. Hutton's going to have to stand strong, which he does in the first instance. And Willis has to get down quickly to make the save again. Probably one that he should make, not exactly right in the corner of the goal. It's Mansfield who have had a few chances in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. Both teams probably should feel aggrieved not to be on the score sheet just yet. Falls to Dale. Goalkeeper gets down well. Sam Ford's there for the rebound, but the goalkeeper scoops it up first. Good interception from Bevan. Sam Ford is in space, as is Lancaster on the right hand side there. Sam Ford, I was going to say finds him, but actually the defender positions himself very well. Lancaster did get to the ball first, but the defender had positioned himself so that whatever touch Lancaster took, he was going to be right there to nick it. Good defending. Sam Ford does the same thing though. Anticipates where the ball's going to drop. Can Dalton swing one in for the run of Dale at the near post? He can. Burgess bundles it in. And there's a free kick. I thought we had the lead there. We'll make some changes while we've got the game paused, but I'm going to have to go into instant replay and have a look at that because I'm not sure what the infringement would have been. Dale gets across the defender at the near post, headers it straight at the goalkeeper, who makes a good reaction save from a powerful header. And then Burgess dives in. They're going to give handball. It's a handball. Burgess dives in to try and header it, gets absolutely clobbered by the defender in the meantime, and ends up bundling it in with his elbow off the goalkeeper and then off really the top of Burgess's back. But handball ultimately inside the 6-yard box, and still the game remains level. 2 changes for Rangers then. Ford and Francis both off in the centre of midfield there. Jamie Ford comes on to replace Sam. Brandon Anderson takes over again from Zach Francis. They've given it straight to Ryan Lancaster, who sees little option but to kind of run it into the corner, pull it back to Dalton. Rangers looking to restart the game again quickly, but second ball rolls onto the pitch, which prevents them from doing so. Not a massive amount on, to be honest, anyway. And
Precision was lacking. Throw in coming up.
I've pressed 2 or 3 times there for Dalton to run. I wanted just the ball into Lancaster's feet for the throw. Dalton to run into the corner. Lancaster to knock it back to him so that he could put in a cross. Dalton instead throws it in and starts running back towards his right back position. Not ideal. Good shape from Rangers, good defending there, and Dalton clears.
A goal has been scored in one of the other games. Alex Scott has the news.
And again they give it straight to Ryan Lancaster. I guess the left back just loves defending one-on-ones, because he's just telling his mates just to give Lancaster the ball and let him run at them. Struggling to find a way to release the ball there, Lancaster, but eventually he does. Bevan with a nice move to free up some space for himself. Thought it was going to be Anderson to have a shot from long range there, but instead he finds his way into the box and pokes it across goal. Just about 15 minutes left of extra time now. Both teams looking to nick the result. We're going to go for Hutton there. I can see him lurking around the penalty spot. Dale is there first. Hutton strikes it though. Hits the defender. Sue Hale now playing the role of a left winger, which he does competently as well apparently. Put a decent cross in, but Rangers unable to get a player on the end of it. And I see Dalton there, but I also saw the Mansfield player lurking.
Can they take one of these chances that come their way and win this game?
Well, doesn't have to do it on his own.
He's got to be offside. I think Dalton's stepped up with Hutton, but Dalton didn't go with him, he just kept him on. I mean, this is a bit of an overreaction. It's still 0-0. It's a fairly routine save. We probably don't need to be leaping on our goalkeeper to celebrate that. It's a fairly routine stop. I would have been disappointed if that went in. Stanley does well to clear. I mean, they made out like we were a goal up, and Willis had just made a last-minute save to... Oh, yeah, but I thought Ford was offside there. Just couldn't hold his run long enough. Dale did well to find him. He is... Oh, that's closer than I thought it was, to be fair. Just half a yard in it, maybe. I thought there was a little more than that.
Good through ball.
Got players over now. Bevan just unable to find Burgess, but it does fall to Dale anyway. Wanted to find Burgess on the ball inside there, but couldn't quite. Defender positioned himself well to take it away. We'll press though. Anderson wins it well. Lancaster can't get there. Ford unable to break up the play and win the ball back early. This is the Anderson that we know. He's been influential since he's come on, Brandon Anderson. And Lancaster's in down the left again. Defenders matching him stride for stride, but Lancaster manages to find Burgess, who tucks it into the net with 4 minutes left to go. Redmont Rangers finally take the lead. Burgess, I believe, was his first goal of the season, might be his second. But whether it is his first or his second, it's an important one.
Well, here's the replay. He's done well to get his head up, pick out the teammate, and the movement is good, making for a comfortable finish. It's a really great...
Nothing the goalkeeper could do about that one. Burgess just hangs back a little, sits on the edge of that 6-yard box, and Lancaster does well to pull it back and find him. An important goal. Let's make sure we see this out now. So we'll bring Dale off for Coates. We will bring, I think, De Silva on for Dalton again. And then Lancaster again is flagging at the top there. I think we'll make 2 now. And we'll try and waste a little bit of time by allowing a few minutes to pass before making that final substitution. De Silva looks decent, very young, an academy prospect, the first one that we promoted up to the first team. And he does look very good. We've got him on the attacking wing-back development plan right now, so hoping he can develop into something. Good potential. And a 55 overall already. I believe he's only 16. He may well be 17, but he's certainly no older than that. Knock that into that space for Burgess, and Bevan wants it back. Did we stay onside? We did. Bevan pulls it back for Ford, who just can't quite bring it under his spell. Finds Lancaster, who hits it straight at the keeper. He actually makes a decent save, and Burgess drags it wide. Ping pong around the penalty area for a minute there. And we'll take this opportunity to waste a little bit of time by making our final substitution. Bring in Smith on for Lancaster. Just some extra fresh legs in midfield. Prioritising that over bringing on a fresh centre back rather than Carpenter. We have dropped into our defensive tactic for these last few minutes. I do need to set up an ultra defensive and an ultra attack, because this is an ultra defensive moment if ever I've seen one. And it's Smith now rather than Lancaster who's finding the space. Pulls it back, but Burgess unable to get on the end of it. Hartley's got to get there, and he does. Anderson's got to come across, and he doesn't. Hutton deals with it instead, though, and De Silva clears. And there is not the referee's final whistle. But we do have a free kick, so I imagine we're going to hear that final whistle very, very shortly. And there it is. The Redmont Rangers run out 1-0 winners.
Sometimes it takes a while to eventually get the better of the opposition, and that was the case.
Not the best performance, but not the worst either. A very even game. I think either team could have come away with the win, and just a single goal in it does feel about right. I called a big result at the beginning of the game, a clean sheet in 2 or 3 for us. We didn't get the 2 or 3, but we did get the clean sheet. And Burgess with the lone goal in the 87th minute there secures the win for Redmont Rangers. We will still be clear at the top of League 2 in that case. Mansfield edged possession and had a significant number of passes attempted more than us. Their pass accuracy was also better. We did have 12 shots though, and an XG of 5.7. XG on FIFA continues to make me chuckle. We did have a few very good opportunities. One falling to Jake Dale and he blazed wide, one falling to Lancaster who hit straight at the goalkeeper. But you just so rarely see XG approaching 6 in football. A combined XG of almost 9 in this game is just wild, especially when it finished 1-0. So I mean, always take that statistic with a pinch of salt. Let's see what Hans Newman's got to say about the 1-0 victory. Salford winning. Didn't manage to see Harrogate in there.
Just got a couple of questions for you regarding the match.
Looked like the game was going to end up your way, and then right at the death, your team. It looked like the game was going to end up your way, and then right at the death, you found a winner. Not, I've read that I think 2 or 3 times, and I'm fairly certain that's what it said. Doesn't really make any sense to me. Right, what were we thinking so close to the end? Sometimes you just have to be patient. Seems a very appropriate answer. A great win. What did we do differently today? We didn't really do anything different. And then how do we feel about sealing Mansfield's fate? It all but confirms Mansfield's relegation. 6 games into the season seems a little premature. 40 games still to play. Our job is just to win games. I mean, Mansfield by no means are relegated. It's a silly thing to say.
That's all the questions we have for you.
That reporter is not allowed back to ask any more questions in the future. So let us advance here, because there are a couple of things that I think are going to happen in the interim. One of which is additional scout reports might come back. So Jake Taylor is 24 years old, 62 overall. He doesn't have any play styles. He doesn't seem particularly good at anything, so I'm not going to bother adding him to the shortlist. Noah Burgess wants to talk about his contract. Let's look at that. That is something else I did want to do here. And that's renew a few contracts. So let's see what Burgess wants. He is only 26 and he is one of our better rated players at 68. So I am very much interested in keeping him. It would be incredible if we could get his wages down just a little bit as well. So let's give him important. He might want crucial, and he does want crucial. That changes things. If he was happy to settle for important, I would probably have given him a 4-year deal. In 4 years' time, though, he's not going to be a crucial player. So, I mean, we're going to have to accept that we are going to have to make it about 2 years. The reason I would have liked to have given him a 4-year deal on important is because we could probably have gotten away with bringing the wages down to about 3.5 grand if we did that. Whereas here, I don't like our chances of being able to get it down that low. I think we'll try. I would love to get him on 3 grand. I feel like that's a bit of an insult though. And I don't want to insult him, especially after he's just scored the winner. So I think if we give him like 3.5 and maybe just try chucking him like a 20k sign-in bonus, that might be enough to take a bit of a pay cut, give him a bit of money up front. He wants a 58,000 bonus if he scores 10 goals, as well as a 33,000 signing bonus. I'm happy to bump that up to 25, and I'm happy to give you 50,000 if you score 10. He wants 32 and almost 40 if he scores 5. So let's actually remove the goals bonus altogether and give him 35k in terms of a sign-in bonus. The reason I'm happy to give him a bit of a sign-in bonus to get those wages down is that one of our objectives is to keep salary growth under 5%. So if we can knock a few hundred off each of our players' salaries, or a handful of our players' salaries, then that's going to give us some salary space to bring in additional players. Who else do we have on just 10 months remaining then? We've got Carter Hodgson. This is the other goalkeeper that we have backing up. Naylor a 57 overall at 34. Hodgson a 54 overall at 19. So seems the easy choice. Charlie Coates doesn't really fit what we're trying to do. He's only 5'10". He's not particularly strong. He doesn't jump particularly high. He did score that late winner against Sutton United. So, unsure what to do about him. Same with Willis and Dalton. Both starters this year. Both decent players. Willis 34, Dalton 31. Each only with a year remaining. So I'm not sure I'd want to give them much more than an additional year. Reece Bevan is 63 overall at 26 years old. He's going to have to stay for another season or two. He's a decent left back. We can improve upon him for sure. I'm happy to give him a 2-year extension though. And we'll try and get his wages down as well. Could we get it as low as 1,000? Let's try and get him down to 1,000 if he takes 25 grand up front. He won't go as low as 1,000, but maybe we can get him on 1,500 if he takes 25k up front, and he does. And then maybe we'll look at one more for today. Rory Bullock, 23 years old, 64 overall, decent centre back. And he's certainly not crucial, but he probably is important at this point. Not sure I want to give him as many as 3 years. I prefer a 2-year deal with no release clause. Try and get him down to 1,000 again, and we'll chuck him the 25k. He also wants closer to 1.5, which I mean is fair enough. He has taken a pay cut. What's 1,700 with no performance bonus? Let's try and keep him. I would rather knock a little off the wages and give him a little more of a signing bonus rather than keep him on the same wages. That looks good. Alright, let's check out the objective then and see what we're looking like in terms of our salary growth. We are currently at 5%. Not really sure how that's the case, because all we've done is add Sue Hale, who's only on 2k, and we've knocked off several hundred, 1,800. I mean, we've knocked off at least the 800. So you're saying by adding 1,000 to our total wage budget, you're saying 1,000 is 5% of our total wage budget. That doesn't seem right. We've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that objective, you know. Marcus Naylor does secure his deal to Salford City, so that's another chunk of wages gone. Not very much, to be honest. Yeah, he wasn't even on 1,000. We do get a little money back towards the transfer budget as well. Let's clear the inbox and then we will call the episode there. Josh Brown wants to know if he'll play against Accrington Stanley. I'll certainly think about it. Bullock wants to play the game as well. We have got bigger games coming up though. And then Burgess is very happy to be here. You know how highly we rate you, Noah Burgess. So let's take another look at I was going to say another look at the standings, but actually we're looking at the EFL trophy. We are in. I didn't realise this was some kind of group format for the initial rounds of the EFL Trophy. You've got a northern section broken down into groups and a southern section broken down into groups. That's interesting. I didn't realise it was laid out this way. I don't pay too much attention to the EFL Trophy, but we have Accrington Stanley and Bristol Rovers in our group. So we kick off the EFL Trophy against Accrington Stanley in the next game. So until that episode,